Okay, so this is part two. I went over page 585 and we're at page 586, letter B at the bottom if you're following along with me. You'll notice that there's a shape that looks like this. This is called a composite shape. And what you need to do is you need to break it up into two shapes that we know what the formulas are already. Okay, there is no formula for this composite shape because composite shapes can be all different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up into two shapes. I'm going to draw kind of like a little dotted line, and I'm going to go from there to there. Now, you'll notice that if this is 7, this is 7, this is also going to be 7 from here to here, and this is also going to be 7. So what this is a square. We have one square, okay? And the area for square is just length times width. Okay, so really we just have 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is going to be equal to 49. So I'm going to write 49 meters squared is my area of just my square here. Okay, but then we also have this leftover piece at the top here, and it's got two parallel lines. Okay, and then we have two lines that are not parallel. So this is our trapezoid up here. We know that the area of a trapezoid formula is area equals half of the height, base 1 plus base 2. And if you did not remember that formula, if you did not memorize it yet, you need to look back in the pages to find that, okay, because it doesn't say it anywhere on page 586. So that's something that you need to go back and look for. So we know base 1 is going to be 5, and we know that base 2 is going to be 7, because if this was 7, then this had to be 7. So we can fill that part in. So we have 5 plus 7, okay? We're trying to find the area. So all we need to do right now is make sure we know what the height is. Okay, so we need to know what is this to this. Well, if this whole thing was 10 meters, and we know that this part is 7 meters, all you have to do is 10 minus 7, which is going to be 3. So this height is going to be equal to 3, because 3 plus 7 is equal to 10, which is the whole side on this side. So I'm going to write half of 3. Now that we have our formula written out, we can solve it right now. I'm just going to erase this so we have more room. 5 plus 7, you do that first, so it's going to be 12. So now we have half of 3 times 12. I would do 3 times 12 first, which would give you 36. And then you take half of 36, which is going to be 18. So our area is equal to, so the area of this trapezoid is equal to 18 meters squared. Now that you have both of your areas figured out, you can just add them together to figure out what the composite area is. And 49 plus 18 is going to give you 67 meters squared. So our total area is equal to 67 meters squared. And just make sure that you're labeling it correctly as well. And again, you're able to use calculators for these. So if you don't want to kind of do all the math in your head, you can use calculators. Let's look on page 587 at example number 2. So we're kind of back to this pool that we saw on the first page that we were doing. And it says find the area of the pool's floor. So you kind of have a rectangle. I'm just going to kind of draw it a little bit smaller. And then we have our stairs that go into it. Okay, so separate the figure into a rectangle and a trapezoid. So I'm just going to take a different color here to show you how I'm separating it. I am going to draw my dotted line here. So now I have this whole thing is my rectangle. This is my small little trapezoid. Okay, and they say, okay, the rectangle is 28 by 14. This was 28 and this was 14. In order to figure out the area of a rectangle, you do length times width. So you had to do 28 times 14. And it comes out to be 392. So area for this one is 392 feet squared. Now we have to figure out what the area of this little trapezoid is. The area of the trapezoid, okay, is going to be half of the height, base 1 plus base 2. And if you look closely, base 1 could be 4 and base 2 could be 6. Now notice your trapezoid is turned on its side, okay? The bases are actually on either side. So this is the base, this blue line is the base, and then this little black line here is also a base. So I'm going to write 4 plus 6, And then the height that they gave us is that the little line of the stairs going this way. This is going to be my height, which is 2. So I'm going to write half of 2 is my area. Now you need to solve. So you would do 6 plus 4 first, which is 10. Half of 2 times 10. 2 times 10 is 20. You take half of 20, which is equal to 10. So this area of the trapezoid is just 10 feet squared. Then what you need to do is you need to add them together. So you add 392 plus 10, and you end up getting 402 square feet. Okay? You can do letter C on your own to figure out what the area is. And if you want help kind of breaking it up into 2 figures, we have something that looks like this. And if you wanted to figure out how am I going to break this up, it's a composite figure, how can I break it up into 2 shapes? You can draw your dotted line right here. This is going to be a rectangle. Rectangle, you're just going to do length times width. And then this is going to be a trapezoid. And remember, the formula for trapezoid is half of the height, base 1, plus base 2. Okay, then you can plug in all the numbers that they give you there to figure out what the complete area is of this figure. The last part that I want to go over is find the area of overlapping figures. To find the area of overlapping figures, you need to decompose the figures. So look at example number 3. So it says find the area at the right. So first you need to find the area of the square. So pretend like the other part isn't even there. So you do 12 times 12, which is 144. Then you find the area of the other rectangle, which is 15 times 12, which is equal to 180. Add those 2 together, you end up getting 324. And then you need to see what is the area of that overlapping figure. So that square in the middle, what is the area going to be? Well, you'll figure out that it's 6 times 7, which is 42. You need to subtract that overlapping area, or else you're going to double that overlapping area. You don't want that. So you need to get rid of that overlapping area. So you're going to do 324 minus 42 equals 282. Okay? If you're still confused with that part, make sure you come to the Zoom at 1 o'clock. That's part of your class, so I should expect to see everyone there, and we'll go over overlapping figures more in the Zoom class.